Okay, so what I want you to do next is we're going to take some data on how the cam causes the follower to move up and down. So what you're going to open is, and I'm going to have to find mine here, I think this is it. You're going to open the file, the assembly that has your pair cam in it. You could do any of them, but we're going to start with the pair cam since it's officially cam number 1. And the first thing we're going to do is get rid of this box. When I say get rid of, we're not going to delete it, we're going to hide it. So we're going to right-click over here in the browser on the box and go down to Visibility and uncheck it so that now it's, well, easier to see. So, next, I'm going to need, there's 2 planes associated with this follower. There's this one that's here, but we need the other one as well. We need the one that says angle of rotation follower, that plane. So we're going to notice it's gray in the browser. We're going to right-click on it and turn its visibility on. There we go. Now you'll see that plane is there as well. So, what we're going to do is we're going to look at where the follower is in terms of its up and down motion. You'll notice that the follower stays put for a while and then does a quick jump, stays put for a while, does a quick jump. We're going to get some data on that. So we're going to start by moving this through certain degrees. In order to do that, we're going to apply a constraint. We're going to hit constrain, and we're going to do an angle constraint. The second one over here says angle if you hover over it. And we're going to do what they call a directed angle. We're going to tell it exactly what angle we want. In this case, 0 degrees. Now all we got to do is tell it which ones we want. Well, let's zoom in here. We want the one that says angle of rotation, the one that goes this way, not this way. So we're going to get that plane, click that one, and then we're going to come down and click the plane that goes through not the midplane of your cam, but this one right here. The one, you could also actually use the one for the handle, but we'll use this one here. And it will snap them to 0 degrees, and we'll hit apply. And we'll close that. Notice that since we've established that angle, we can't rotate the handle anymore. It's stopped at 0 degrees. All right. So what we need now is to know how high, in fact, we'll look at it from this angle here, this side here. We want to know how high is it from the center of the cam to the top of this follower. Well, to do that, we need a ruler. That's why if you look in the browser over here, you'll see a object called the ruler, which is gray. We're going to right-click on that, turn on its visibility. Folks that have made this have put a ruler there for our use. Notice that the top of my cam, the top of my follower, right here, the top of this stick, is at about 5 7/8. And the bottom is about 1 1/8. We'll take it down to the nearest 1/16 of an inch, which would be in between these 2 little marks, and I give you a kind of a cheat sheet to help you figure that out. So what I would do first is, now you have a paper copy of this in your notebook, is I would go to this and I would say, all right, the top of the follower is at 5, what did I say it was? 5 7/8. So I would make that 5 point, and then 7/8 is 875. I have my little cheat sheet in front of me. Bottom of the follower at 0 degrees was at 1.125, 1 1/8. Now, if it's you, you're going to handwrite that into the table, but for me, it's right here on the screen. It's easier to do it that way. Now, I'll go back to Inventor, and I'm going to change the angle by 10 degrees. Easy to do. Over in the browser, I know there's a lot of junk, but somewhere in here, you'll find, there it is, the one that says the angle. Actually, angle 2, I believe, is the one we want. I'm not 100% sure, but we'll go to here. So, we'll find this angle, and we'll double-click it. And it will give us the opportunity, if we double-click it, to change the angle from 10 degrees to, from 0 degrees, we'll go to 10 degrees. Notice, right here, it turned 10 degrees. Now, this is where it gets a little boring. For a pair cam, it didn't change because that bottom part is a circle. It's constant radius, going to have constant distance. So for a while here, as we go through, the follower isn't going to move. Don't panic. So for 10 degrees, it would actually be the same. So you could write down that in your table, and then we'll go to 20 degrees. How do we do that? Go to the follower. So not the follower. Go to the browser. Double-click here where it says angle 2. Change it to 20 degrees. Notice it doesn't change. And we keep doing this, 30 degrees, 40, and so on, until we do notice a change. I'm thinking it's going to occur, I don't think it occurs at 110 degrees. Not yet. But let's go up from there. Whoops. Let's try 120. Not yet. 130. There it goes. A little bit of a change at 130. So just starting to change. Now, it went up a little bit. You can always zoom in. If you want to make a guess, you know, you say it goes up, let's say it went up just a little bit past that eighth, so you could make a little bit of a guess. I'll say that at 130 degrees, it went up to, so all the way down here at 130, let's say it went up to 5.9. Just a little bit. That means this is probably up to, let's see, let's call it 1 point. Well, I got to be careful on that one because I want to make sure. We'll go back to that. I want to make sure that these two, because this distance between here and here should always be the same. It's the length of your follower. But you get the idea. And then we'll go, if you can't tell, don't worry about it. Just call it the same. But I bet you when we go to 140 degrees, we'll notice a real change. There it goes up. So I would call that probably 15/16. So I'll call that at 5 and let me go back to my thing here. So I'll call it that point 5.9375, and that means this one is at 1.1875. And I can get that off my cheat sheet that I have. And then if I go to 150 degrees, there we go, get a jump. And we're going to do this all the way through at 360 degrees. Just 150, 160, 170, all the way to 360. Actually, 360 is back to 0. And we're going to record as best you can the height at every one of those. And we're going to do that for each of the cams. So after you do cam 1, you'll go and you'll find your, click open, and find your cam 2. I don't even know if I've made a cam 2 yet, actually. I don't think I have. I'm behind in this class. I'm going to fail. But you are going to go through and do that for your hexagon cam, for all the various cams. You are going to do at 10-degree increments and record how high it is. And then we're going to make a graph out of that next class. So let's take care of getting these measurements taken care of. If you get stuck, ask me. I'm more than willing to help. Where is my